Greetings, adventurers. This is DM Kurt, and we have been playing Adventure N1 Against the Cult of the Reptile God by Douglas Niles. So, our intrepid adventurers have gone in for their second foray into the dungeon. Walls dripping with humidity and dampness, and some of the earthen walls starting to collapse. They've done a lot of exploring this particular session. They have found 3 areas that look like underground lakes and avoided them. Well, ponds at most, but they avoided them, even though one of them had a handy dandy boat. They could have crossed using the boat, but small areas. They managed to do only a little bit of combat at first. They found the 3 lieutenants, so to speak, of the big bad and defeated them. Fought 2, then fought the 3rd. Got a magic item out of the deal, shield +1. They were in the room where the 4th lieutenant was supposed to be, but had been missing, and found a chest. So the thief tries to detect for traps. I roll, that's a secret roll, because you don't know whether you've failed or not, because that would imply metagaming in the part of the players. You have failed to find any traps, if there are any. Okay. Note, magical traps are harder to find than non-magical ones. So it is assumed that it is locked. Yes, it is indeed locked. So the thief tries to pick locks, succeeds, opens the chest, and Glyph of Warding. Remember, we're playing a 1st edition game. The Glyph of Warding will require you to make a saving throw versus paralysis, poison, and death magic. Player's like, well, I don't like any of those, so I'm going to try to make my saving throw. They did not make their saving throw. They received paralyzation. And I told the player, okay, as you open up the chest, you see a flash of light. And we'll stop there. The rest of you see the elf just stop moving. And in the chest is some red and black clothing and a mace and a scroll sitting on top of the neatly folded clothing. I'm like, okay, we'll check out the mace, we'll check out the scroll, but first we're gonna... Does the elf have a pulse? Yes, your elf is still warm to the touch, and you think they're faintly breathing. Okay, that's good. We have no idea how long she's going to be paralyzed for. We only have a 3-person party, and one of them's paralyzed. What do we do? Well, grab the stuff, shove it into our backs, and we'll pick up the elf and carry her out. They're going to leave. Now, what they don't know is how long this character is going to be paralyzed. But they do know that they're down to 2 out of 3 people. And they're in enemy territory. They can't just stop here and bar the door. Who knows? Because there's obviously somebody else coming. Somebody else around. So they decide, okay, we're going to leave the dungeon. Now this is their 2nd time leaving the dungeon. So there has to be some adjustment as to what goes on in the dungeon. Well, they decide, okay, we're going to leave. We're going to go about 300 yards away from the entrance to the dungeon, out into the woods. And we're going to put our 2 horses out there. And then about 50 yards across from there, we'll have our own little quiet campsite. Hopefully, nobody finds us. And we'll rest overnight, and whatever happens, happens. We'll set up 2 guard shifts, between the 2 of us, do what we have to. The fighter takes first guard, because he's thinking, okay, well, the sooner the mage can get his sleep, the sooner we get our mage's spells back. Sleep spell's been very handy, and we need it. Okay, cool. Well, the guards from this cult temple of really a shoddily built dungeon, they come out as a search party. There's not just 4 of them. There's 8, possibly more. and they are searching, and they are searching, and they're searching, and everybody tries to be quiet. The horses make a little bit of noise, and the cultists find the horses, and they find the adventurers, and the fight is on. So at that point, congratulations, the elf is no longer paralyzed by the glyph of warding. It was supposed to be 3 to 18 turns, which are 10 minutes each. I rolled 3d6, got a 6, a 5, and a 5, so 2 hours and 40 minutes of paralyzation. If they had stayed in the dungeon, probably would have had wandering monsters at the very least. Wandering monsters probably being the fourth lieutenant cultist. Well, they'd sent out the guards, and well, the guards are down. We have effectively at this point got all the guards out of the dungeon, and the guards attack the players. The players manage to defeat the cultists, and between the fighter and his 2 war dogs and the elven thief and the mage, well, now that dungeon's pretty much depopulated. They're going to go back in, and they're going to try to find the big bad who's behind the cult. And they've figured out through ransacking the lieutenant's rooms that it's a naga. Okay, that is basically this size large snake-like creature with a human head and the ability to cast spells. And it is evil. Okay. Well, I just got word that we have a new player coming in. So next session is going to start off by having them create a character. This is someone who has tried and didn't like 5th edition, and their previous gaming experience was sometime in the 1980s. That puts them around 1st edition D&D. I look forward to it, and I'll let you know how it goes. DM Kurt, out.